974-8255. We'll be back right after this. Jeff Hunter just won a $10,000 gift card from Bow West Appliances for listening to Stampeders Radio on 770 CHQR.
This is something big.
This is something big for sure.
Hi, Jeff. Congratulations. You just won a $10,000 gift card.
Wow, my day just got a whole lot. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it.
We're the official voice of the Calgary Stampeders and home of Sports Talk with Jock. 770 CHQR.
Honey, what are you doing home?
No work again. Boss said he was sorry, but...
He's sorry. Well, that's good. At least he's sorry.
been trying to drum up business. Says there's just not a lot of HVAC work this time of year. Something has gone wrong. This HVAC technician has a job at the wrong company.
I'm Kyle Lumsden from Clearview Home Services. We're a steadily growing company with thousands of happy customers. Our phones ring every day, and our techs always have work.
I'm Melanie Lumsden. We're looking to hire 1 or 2 new HVAC techs. If you're experienced, hardworking, and always put the customer first, we want to meet you.
Maybe I should call Clearview.
Maybe you should. You've worked for that knucklehead long enough. Join us. Visit justcallclearview.ca. You have to call us. We won't call you.
Design your dream home your way. Shane Home Build and Price Tools makes it easy.
The rules change a little bit. Anyway, I have to take a break. 10:30 news coming up.
Hi, it's Merle. Let's spruce up your indoor and outdoor spaces. We have lots of great houseplants, new pots, and home decor. Now is a great time to spruce up the yard. Call our landscape design team to get ready for next summer and get 15% off winter designs. Winter is also a great time to prune your trees, as winter pruning promotes fast regrowth. Call Prune It Up to get 15% off. Spruce it up, green it up, prune it up. We got you covered.
If cancer were a plague, more than twice the population of reindeer would be diagnosed every year. Right now, 1 Canadian hears of cancer every 3 minutes. The researchers funded by the Canadian Cancer Society now know cancer isn't one, but more than 100 different diseases. That's why we fund the geniuses and dreamers researching all cancers. Help us make life better today and transform the future of cancer forever. Visit
I'm Jeff Smith. The city is moving into the next phase of a call diversion initiative. Starting February 1st, 911 call takers will look for opportunities to divert calls to 211 or the distress center. For example, if there isn't an emergency but someone needs to speak about their mental health. Earlier this month, 211 call takers virtually moved in with Calgary 911 at the Whitehorn Multi-Services Center to prepare. Calgary Skyview MP George Chahal says he has paid a $500 administrative penalty for removing another candidate's flyer during last fall's campaign. The former city councillor was caught on a doorbell cam. This morning, he tweeted an apology and acknowledgement that he made a mistake. RCMP are appealing to the public to try to identify human remains found in Banff National Park more than 2 decades ago. A tour guide found the remains in 1998 on the backside of Silver Mountain, along with some belongings, including a wallet and car key. But investigators have been unable to match the discovery with any missing person case. The AUPE says a helicopter that crashed east of Canmore on Sunday was conducting a wildlife management survey at the time. It says the 4 people injured include 3 employees of Alberta Environment and Parks who were counting deer and moose from the air. Partly cloudy today with a high of 6. Tonight clear, low -5, +2 tomorrow. It's -4. Breaking news when it happens. Our next scheduled news at 11. I'm Jeff Smith.
Hear that? That warm gust of wind is what's going to heat up your social calendar this February. This Blast returns for a second year, February 4th to 12th. Come see all the amazing events taking place downtown Calgary, like the Glow Festival. Warm up your winter and stop by this one-of-a-kind interactive event at the heart of downtown Calgary. It's a safe outdoor event for the whole family. Follow Chinook Blast on social media for details around this and other events. Visit chinookblast.ca.
Big stories, big ideas, big issues. Breaking them down and making them make sense. Afternoons with Rob Breckenridge, 12:30 to 3, 770 CHQR.
When just scratching the surface doesn't deliver, go in depth.
You're listening to Shay Gannam on 770 CHQR, Calgary's News, Today's Talk.
All right, 780-496-0063-403-974-8255. Coming up in the next hour, markets are tanking again today, big time. Another second day of just huge drops right across all of the major indexes. Indices is the correct word. You know, you've got the situation, what's going on in Ukraine. You've got a lot of hesitation and a lot of concern about what's going to happen with central banks setting their interest rates next week. So there's a lot going on, and it's not having a good impact on the stock market. So we're going to get an update on what's going on with National Bank Financial coming up at 11:15 this morning. Right now, though, a story that came out, we've talked about this a lot over the past several months on this show, the situation surrounding EMS in the province of Alberta. We all know that it's been an ongoing issue. We've heard about the red alerts. You probably heard the story last week in Airdrie, a 10-year-old boy with a broken leg had to be taken to hospital by a fire crew because there was no EMS crews available. It all came to a head yesterday, possibly. A health minister talking about a 10-point plan to try and get a handle on the situation, and also a new committee that's being struck to take a look at what's going on and see if we can come up with some long-standing solutions. And joining us to give us an idea of what may be on the way, we're going to chat with Darren Sandbeck. Darren is the AHS EMS Chief Paramedic. Darren, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I appreciate your time.
Hi, Shay. Thanks for having me.
I think we all know that the situation has been really, really tense. It's been dire in some instances. Just give us your assessment of how bad things are in terms of EMS service in the province of Alberta right now.
Yeah, so, as you mentioned, the EMS system has been under pretty incredible pressure over the last number of months. We've seen a 30% increase in call volume all across the province since about this time last year, and so that's created challenges in the environment where it creates pretty substantial increase in demand for the resources that we have available. So what we've done is move forward with some strategies to try and alleviate that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. A 10-point plan to try and relieve some of the pressure. Some of them are already underway. Let's just go through them quickly here. Obviously, getting more paramedics on the job would be great. The province says, it's up 9% over the past 2 years. A lot have been hired. So where are we in terms of hiring more, and how many more do we need?
We're in a constant hiring cycle, Shay, so, we're hiring all the time, and we've also opened up some conversations with educational institutions that train paramedics to talk to them about increasing their output as well. If there are paramedics out there that are underemployed or unemployed and want to be working, we certainly want to hear from them because, as I said, we're constantly hiring.
And a number of the points, if you can put them in a basket, Darren, they all sort of talk to making sure the resource is being used as wisely as possible. It takes a look at, transfers in between facilities. Do we need EMS crews doing that? Waiting in hospitals, things like that. So just give us an overall view of where we are, what you're hoping to do in terms of making sure that the resource is being used as efficiently as possible.
Sure. So really, in a nutshell, what we're trying to do here is to protect EMS resources for the most critical patients. And I think that, you can appreciate we see all sorts of calls for service, some of which are for critical life-threatening emergencies, some of which are for really low priority events. And so really what we've put together is a number of strategies that help us manage the lower priority end of this and tools with which to do that so that we can protect the EMS resources and capacity for those truly critical patients that need timely response.
So what kind of things, what does that look like? Let's give us some examples. I was interested to learn that you've stopped responding to motor vehicle collisions where, in some cases, as early as last month, right?
Yeah, so that's a great example. And so one of the things that we have done back in early December was we updated the way that we respond to non-injury motor vehicle collisions. So, in this province, we see days where we have freezing rainstorms or other weather events that cause a large number of minor motor vehicle collisions, many of which don't result in an injury. So previously, we would send an ambulance just to check that out. Now, if our emergency communication officers, through their questioning of the caller, determine that there's no injuries in that event, we will not send an EMS response automatically. However, if we do determine, or if it is determined that there are injuries, we will always respond to those events.
One of the points that you mentioned yesterday, transferring low priority calls to other agencies in consultation with EMS physicians. What would those look like, and what other agencies might be involved?
Sure. So right now we're transferring calls to the Poison and Drug Information Service where it's appropriate. And what we're working on is developing, again, some of those low priority events to transfer those calls to HealthLink, where nurse advice can be provided by the resources that they have in HealthLink. So we're working on internal processes to be able to identify callers to 911 who it may be more appropriate for them to receive nurse advice and then transfer that call to 811.
Okay, that seems to make sense. In terms of the transfers, and I know that's something that always comes up where we've heard stories about, a truck being used to do inter-facility transfers and things like that. Maybe there's a better way of doing that. There's a pilot project you're hoping to get started in Red Deer, right?
Yes, so there's sort of two initiatives there that you're talking about. So one is managing better the non-emergency inter-facility transfer work. So we've got pilot projects running working really hard and they're tired, and we understand that. And so some of this is to increase our